Namaste, my name is Holly Semenoff, and today we will be channeling Source. And our topic today is all about trust, trusting yourself, and what does that look like, why, what comes from trusting yourself. And so we'll just go ahead and get right into the channeling. We are here, all of us present in this space. For as we speak as one. For our connection to Source is also your connection to Source. For in this essence, all are connected. And we ask that you simply listen. Listen through the essence of your heart. Feel the information just as much as you hear it. For today we will be speaking upon truth, trust. Why say trust and truth together? Because they are intertwined and interlace. Each individual truth also has an individual trust within the self. What this means is to truly connect to yourself. There must be trust. Trusting yourself will lead you to your truth at every given moment of every given day. Truth, you see, is not necessarily an absolute. What does this mean? Take, for example, the environment. Take a tree, a seed. At every moment of every given day, that seed needs a certain amount of light, of nutrient, of water to grow. And as it grows, its needs change. And as its needs change, so does the surroundings. Every single moment of every single day, you are in change, whether you know it or not. No moment is exactly like another. So when it comes to truth, it is important to realize that every moment is anew, and every moment can hold a new truth for you, given the circumstances, not only internally, but externally. So this really comes down to trusting yourself. If you have a deep root in trust, you will have a deep root in connecting to the truth of every moment. For when one connects to truth in one moment and then has that be their absolute no matter what they're actually doing is saying, just like that tree, this is exactly what I get to do. This is exactly what I get to be. I get to have this much water, this much sunlight in this given moment of time. But you see, if that seed just sat in that much water and that much sunlight all the time, it would actually limit its growth. It must have change in order to grow. Every moment you have change to grow. And if you are so deeply rooted in only one truth, in the way of things being in that moment of time, then you may miss another great truth in another moment. So this is why it is so important to really trust yourself, because in trusting yourself, you are connecting to every single moment in its truth. Now, how does one truly move to trust themselves? We know this is a very big concept, and we will break it down as much as we possibly can. When one is born, they move through life through survival, because when you are born as a baby, you cannot necessarily survive on your own. This is a fact. So, as others raise you, they also have their own truths that as they raise you for their beliefs in surviving, they give to you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Physically, everybody has growth and survival through water, through food, through shelter. But when it comes to emotional, mental, and spiritual truths, these are up to interpretation. So it is important to recognize that some truths that you might have been given when you were young or growing up may have served you to a specific point, and then they can become obsolete. How can you truly tap in to your truth is to know and ask yourself, is this really my truth? Do I trust myself in this moment when I ask about a truth? For example, if someone told you to stay away from a certain type of plant because it will sting you, then you just stay away from it. You take it as an absolute truth when you are younger because you don't necessarily always question it. Some do, but not everyone is born with this capacity. So then they never touch the plant. But what if that as you grow, then you recognize that the person actually learned that from someone else, who learned it from someone else, who learned it from someone else, who in fact didn't actually know what they were talking about. And thus everyone just accepted that truth. So when you grow up, you actually begin to question everything and you choose to just have a slight experience of it. You don't go completely stupid and jump into an entire bush, but you reach out and just touch a tip to see what you feel. And then you actually don't feel a sting. And then you touch a little bit more and you still don't feel a sting. Then you go a little deeper into the bush and it still doesn't sting you. That is how you figure out that this so-called truth you were told wasn't actually the truth. Or you can just accept it to be. This is the questioning part of life. Questioning will lead you to your truth, but also to trusting yourself. There is so much information outside of you, always. And you can grab everything you want. When this information is always outside of you, it is important too to ask yourself, how does this feel for me? What does it feel internally? Am I grasping on to this truth because someone else said it and it makes them feel safe, so it must make me feel safe? Or am I grasping on to this truth because it actually feels in resonance with myself? It is not uncomfortable. It feels like a flow. So trusting yourself will always feel like a flow, even if it's hard. Now, how can something be hard but still feel like a flow? That is an important question to ask. It will feel like a flow when you feel it internally, even if externally it may seem hard. But when you feel inside that it's flowing, or as some call it, a flow state, then you can know that you are actually tapping in to your trust and your truth within. Things will flow. If things do not flow, there is something stuck. And one can take that opportunity to take a step back and to look, why am I stuck? Why is there not flow here? Where am I not trusting myself? What information or guidance do I really feel internally that I am not following? That is very important, for stuckness will come and will stop flow when one is not trusting themselves. Because again, moving back to truth, everyone's truth will have a different flavor, a different flow in every given moment. Does that not mean it doesn't have an overall theme? No. An overall theme would be love. It is an easy one. So, everyone may have an absolute truth about love, that love is love, but there are many ways to spin that, many ways to show it. For one, they may give roses, for example, to show their love. For another, they may actually do service. This is in your languages of love, but the root, the source, is love. So truth can also move out of the moment of the expression of the love, but an overall theme would be love. So to move back to trust and to truth, first, you must trust yourself. Trusting yourself allows you to flow into your truth. And when you are in your truth, you are in your essence. And a truth, again, is not absolute in every single moment. Move back to the story of the bush, of the one who was told that this will poison you. Because again, they were told by others that were others that were others. They chose to have a small experience of it. This is usually how beliefs or truths that one grew up with are diminished to open them up to trusting themselves and moving with their truth. They begin to taste the water. They begin to slowly touch the leaf to have their own experience rather than relying fully on someone else's. Now, can you still learn through others' experiences? Of course, but our theme here is trust, trusting yourself. In order to trust yourself, you must test those waters because, again, everyone born into this world is born into this world pretty much helpless. So you must rely on other people. That is how the human experience is set up. You must rely on other people for your survival. So what happens when you grow and you're trusting on other people for your survival? You trust outside of yourself because that is what made you survive to a certain point. And there comes a point in everyone's life where then they can make a choice to begin to move their trust into themselves or to continue to just allow themselves to move from what other people say, trusting all that other people say and ignoring their own truth from within. This is the concept we truly want to get across to you. Recognize the human experience will automatically take you out of trusting yourself. It is fact. You need other people to survive. And in that physical survival state, they will always project their emotional, mental, and spiritual truths onto you. And from there, you then trust everyone outside of you. Again, this can be a positive or a negative experience. Everyone's experience is so different. But there comes a time in everyone's life where then they have a choice. Will you continue to allow the trust to be outside of you, or will you move it internally? This will always be step by step by step. Again, moving back to the story of the leaf. When you are moving to trust yourself and you feel you are someone who does not trust yourself, slow baby steps. You do not then say, I'm going to trust myself and make a huge, huge choice to jump into the entire bush or to do something else that's quite extreme. Moving to trust yourself does not mean you have to be extreme. It means you begin to take small steps, small inklings of following what you feel to be your truth, of testing the water. And then, we promise you, if you begin to do this, you will begin to recognize that your truth gets validated. Your trust in yourself gets validated because you move into flow. Now, if you feel that you are trusting yourself, yet you are coming into blockages, then we ask you to get still, to move, to use your awareness, your consciousness, that you might look at a situation and ask, why is this not flowing? What is going on to not create flow that is not allowing me to move to strengthen the trust from within? Trusting yourself will always create flow. And when you create that flow, you will find your truth in every given moment of every given day. Again, this is a broad subject, but we are simply speaking on points. Write down and call forth what truly is resonating in your heart from this channeling, and you will begin to recognize that you are connecting to your source, your truth, your trust, that will allow you to flow with the truth and the trust that is your essence, to create a life of flow, a life that you have always dreamed about from the essence of your heart and your soul, embodied in this human experience. Now we will bid you farewell. Thank you so much for joining in this channeling. Again, everyone who comes on, even if it's outside of time and space, you create this channel. It's always my honor. And until we meet again, namaste.